Hello, eighth grade. I'm just posting a quick video to clarify what I'm looking for you to do on the Evolution Nova Lab. From some of the emails and questions I'm getting, I realized my instructions in terms of what you needed to do were not super clear, and that was my fault. Um, so I will post an assignment. I'll show you where to put it. I'm going to post an assignment where I just need you to upload a screenshot to show me that you completed all the phylogenetic trees. And like I said, I will show you how to do that. Um, in terms of, I have had some questions that when you go into this, do you just have to do the first one or do you have to move on to the other screens? Uh, the shorter answer is you should move on to the other screens because this is going to help you understand how you're supposed to build these trees. Now, that said, there are different types of questions on here. There's ones where you have to type, there's ones where you have to draw. I'm most interested in you answering the uh, short answer and the multiple choice. For in terms of the ones that you have to draw, if you want to do those, you can, but you don't have to. And in terms of the short answer, um, just keep it short. I'm not looking for pages and pages. One or two sentences should suffice. When you go to do the tree, I've had some questions on the lab. So like here's a visualize it one. Don't worry about this, drawing a completed tree. Don't worry about that. I don't want you to have to do that. Um, in terms of the lab and what I want you to actually turn in. So when you go to any of the links here saying, play this or do this and then answer these questions, it's going to take you to the same lab that I showed you in class. And so for today, or for Friday, tomorrow, you needed to have mission 1 and mission 2 complete. And I'm going to walk you through mission 2 just because, again, I feel like people are struggling with this. And then I will show you what I want you to screenshot. So in terms of how we're going to do this, you should watch these videos. I'm not going to watch it now, but it's just a good introduction in terms of what this section is going to cover. And then you're going to start building your phylogenetic tree. Remember, the best way to start building a tree is to click on this little yellow magnifying glass and look at these summary characteristics up here. And what you're looking for is you're looking for what characteristic do all of them have, because that's going to be your lowest characteristic on your tree. And so as I start to go through this, I see that they all have a wishbone. That is the main characteristic. So as I grab my first two, let's start with two of my dinosaurs. Okay, we know that these two dinosaurs these had a wishbone because all of them had wishbones. All right, so now let's take another look. You're going to have to click on this a few times and see how are they the same. Well, this guy has feathers along the body. This has two fingers. And the T-Rex has two fingers. So the T-Rex and this first one, the Albertosaurus, both have two fingers. So when I close this, I'm going to bring my Albertosaurus up here by my T-Rex. And I'm going to move this feature of two fingers here, just below the two of them. And that looks good. All right, so how was this guy different than, well, he had feathers along his body. Did any of the other ones that we have left have feathers? Yes, a chicken has feathers and an ostrich has feathers. So now I know when I bring my chicken and ostrich up here, right, I'm going to put them on this side with the Archaeopteryx. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. Because all of these have feathers. And again, I want to put this shared characteristic at the bottom so that it extends up to all of them. And then lastly, we know that chickens and ostriches have beaks, which these did not have toothless beaks, these do. And I'm good. And it says after, and I answer my question, after solving the puzzle, do birds have anything in common with dinosaurs? And they do. They both have a wishbone. So this is not to say that a chicken is a descendant of a T-Rex. That's not true. That's not what this is saying. What this is saying is that a chicken or an ostrich have a common ancestor with a T-Rex. Okay, that's a big difference between it is a descendant of a T-Rex. It's not a descendant of a T-Rex. It has a common ancestor. And once you click submit and it's correct, you move on. All right, so that was my first one. Then I go on to my next one. And again, I need to start by seeing what are my characteristics. So here I have 2 strong arm-like bones, flat head, webbed toes. 2 strong arm-like bones, 2 strong arm-like bones, 2 strong arm-like bones, blah, blah, blah. We got all that. All right. So which was the one that only had the one characteristic? I believe it was this one. Yep. So we're going to put that one up along with, this is the next guy that's the most simplistic because I only have 2 characteristics. So it is Eustenopteron, I think, and Tiktaalik. All right, there and there. They come off a common ancestor that had strong arm-like bones. All right, and now the rest of these are also going to have, now do all these have eyes on the top? That has eyes on the top. And that has eyes on the top. This has long, slender digits. That has digits as well. So these are all going to have eyes on the top. So this one and this one are going to share a common characteristic with Tiktaalik, which is eyes on the top of the head. And then lastly, these last 2 had digits. And the other thing I want to point out that you should be doing this correctly. In each case, my most simplistic is on one side in terms of the number of characteristics, and then it's moving over to the other side where I have my animals that are the least simplistic or the most complex and have multiple characteristics that I'm talking about. And it says, what's the first trait that helped aquatic species evolve into creatures that live on land? Well, it's going to be arm-like bones. And we're good. All right, and then we go on to do the origin of the whale. This was the one I had gotten a question on. So again, let's take a look. What's my common characteristic? Well, this one only has 2, nursed underwater and is carnivorous, so it's going to be one of those. Well, hippopotamus only has 1. So nurses underwater appears to be my common characteristic. So I'm going to start with the hippo. And the next most simplistic, I believe, was this one with only 2. And that is carnivorous. This guy is carnivorous. So we're going to bring him over here. And our common characteristic, which is going to be the common characteristic of all of these animals, is that they have underwater nursing. Now, are the rest of these animals carnivorous? Let's check. Killer whale is carnivorous, 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 carnivorous. So they're all carnivorous. The next most simplistic one from this guy is going to be either him or him. He's the Ambulocetus. So I'm going to grab Ambulocetus. I'm going to bring it over here. And what these 2 have in common and what the rest of these will also have in common is they're carnivorous. Hippopotamus is not carnivorous. So now this guy is taken care of. And the unique characteristic of this one was that it lives in the sea. Now, do the rest of these live in the sea? Yes. 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 And this is the next most simple one. And the new thing with this animal is that it has tail flukes. Has tail flukes. Has tail flukes. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to bring this up here. And we're going to say they live in the sea. They all live in the sea thus far. All right, and the last part here is we have tail flukes. So I'm going to bring tail flukes in here. And I believe the killer whale has tail flukes too. Yep. And does not have external hind legs. Does this guy have external hind legs? No. What about the blue whale? Does not have external hind legs. So that means that the killer whale and the blue whale are going to be most like each other. And it's this loss of external hind legs I'm going to put here. And so as you can see, I have one left, gills. And none of these animals have gills, which makes us realize that the killer whale and the blue whale are more closely aligned to a hippopotamus than a fish, even though they live underwater. All right? And that's the point of this phylogenetic tree, to show that the hippopotamus and the killer whale and the blue whale share a common ancestor. And that is different from fish. That is different from fish. All right, which of the following species does not have tail flukes? Well, tail flukes are right here. So anyone that has a blue dot has tail flukes. So the killer whale has tail flukes, the blue whale, the Dorundon, and so it'd be this Amblyoccetus, as well as the Pakicetus and the hippo. So we'll choose this guy. That's correct, and you're done. So now you are complete. You can screenshot one of two things and attach it to the assignment on Classroom. So I have listed assignments on Google Classroom here. Let me bring you guys up. So here are your missions right here. This is mission 1, this is mission 2. So when you go into the assignment, on this assignment, I want you to attach, to add to it, a screenshot of either, where was I? This, the mission 2 complete, or if you go to your main screen, I want this main screen where I can see. So I would just use your screenshot, take a screenshot of this. All right, and then I would come in and upload that picture because I can see right here that you completed the missions because you have your leaves. All right, so that's what I need for you to show me that you completed it. Again, I will go over this next week to make sure those of you, because we're going to do the next missions next week, but to show me that you do it, you need to upload a screenshot of your completed screen so I can see that the missions are done. All right, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully this helped.